What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's Rachel here, back again with another amazing Q&A Tuesday video. So welcome back, guys. It is Q&A Tuesday once more, and this is where we answer your burning Cricut craft questions. We love to help you guys out and make you guys super confident and well-rounded crafters, and we hope that these videos help you to do so. Feel free to leave any and all comments down below. If you have a craft question that is burning in your mind and you want it answered, it very well might be featured in an upcoming Q&A Tuesday video, so leave those in the comment section below. In today's video, we're answering the question, why does my script font look weird in Design Space? Now, this is a question we get all the time, and we've never addressed it in a Q&A Tuesday video, so we're super excited to be able to get this one under our belt today. So when you are working with your Cricut in Design Space, creating a project, maybe you're using a font or even more fonts, and some of them don't quite look right, what are you supposed to do? A lot of people assume that's just the way it is. They go ahead and make it and cut it and actually use it in projects, and it breaks my heart. You would be so surprised at how many finished projects I've seen that people are trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace or Etsy where they have not kerned their script font. That is what we're going to be teaching you guys today. This is going to hopefully change a lot of y'all's lives in the way that you craft. It is such a simple thing that a lot of people do not think about, and we really want to get this ingrained in your mind on how important this is. Unless the specific look you're going for in a project is to look unprofessional, you really need to do this. A lot of the times we're making projects and they don't necessarily have to be super professional looking, but whenever you're using a script font, it is just kind of the unspoken rule. You always have to kern these. Now, some fonts are needing to be kerned more than others, and I will give you guys a lot of examples of that today so that you leave with a lot of good information and hacks to be able to master your next font project when working with script fonts. But in general, most, if not all, script or cursive fonts will need to be kerned in one way or another somehow. Maybe not all the letters need to be kerned together, but some of them do. And of course, guys, the more you work at this process, the more you practice in Design Space, the better you'll get at this technique, and the easier and quicker you will be able to notice things that need to be kerned, notice that letters look better if they're not kerned, things like that. So I can't wait to dive into this with you and hopefully change the way some of you guys craft. So without further ado, let's hop on over into Design Space. If you're brand new to Cricut, we would love to offer you a free 5 days to master your Cricut course at the very first link in the description below. If you're here, you might be watching this video because you just got a Cricut or you're brand new, and we have all of the education, inspiration, and motivation you will ever need. We hope you grab that free gift and please enjoy. Here I have several font options that I'm going to be going through with you and kind of teaching you how to kern these properly. Some of these need to be kerned more than others, and I will share with you what I mean by that. If you're wondering where any of these fonts come from, all of these are available to members of Makers Gonna Learn. It is an amazing die cutting community. We have thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts, and so much goodness if you are interested in it, including all of these fonts. The fonts that we're using today, if you want to jot them down, are Betty B, Livin' Good, Fallon, Community, and Affirmations. These are all some of our really, really pretty fonts that we absolutely love. We have almost 1,000 fonts as this video is airing, so there's always more to come. We're always continuing to add new fonts and files every single week. So definitely check those out if you haven't already for a lot of inspiration for your die cutting needs. So this first font here is Affirmations, and as you can see, I typed out hello there, just a basic phrase that everybody might be typing. And I wanted to let you guys know first that there are so many different types of fonts out there, fonts that maybe have a lot of space in between them, and then fonts that don't have very much space in between them at all. There's just a lot to be able to manipulate in Design Space depending on the font that you have. No fonts are created equal, and they all have little quirks about them. So being able to know all of this knowledge to be able to use this later is going to really be able to help you whenever you use a font, no matter which font it is or what type of font it is. Even regular fonts, regular basic fonts can have issues as far as letter spacing goes and things like that. So this is really going to help you guys be super well-rounded crafters with your Cricut. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is see your word and visualize how many of these you want together. Now, I want them all to touch. As you can see, this R is basically depending on the extension of this E to actually look like an R. I really want all of these kerned together. So what we're going to do first is go up to letter spacing. It's right here, letter spacing up here at the top. And I'm going to use that down arrow in my clicker on my mouse, and I'm just going to click that arrow down. And one by one, I'm going to watch very carefully all of my letters as they start to become closer to one another. Now I'm gonna stop here because all of these look nice and kerned together. And if you guys don't know, kerned means that you are manipulating and taking away the spacing in between letters. If you guys are interested in terminology that you need to know, the in and outs of Design Space, hacks, troubleshooting tips, we have everything in that amazing 30 Days to Master Your Cricut course, which is free to all members. And if you guys would like free 5 days, please click the link below and grab that. So right here, everything looks kerned except for this T here. Now you might click off and say, that looks fine, I'm gonna go with that. But you need to really pay attention to how this is gonna look finished. You want everything kerned together. Now this T and this H, you might be saying, well, I'm gonna make it touch, so I don't want it to touch up here and down here because that will look awkward. It's totally fine. So what you're gonna have to do is you can't use letter spacing anymore because all of your other letters look really, really good. There's only one letter you need to kern. So whenever you single out those few letters or that one letter, you're gonna go ahead up here and click ungroup. And once you click ungroup, every single letter is its own text box. Now you can take that T and using your arrow keys on your keyboard, click to the right, and there it goes. It will lock in place just as it's supposed to and look super nice. Now, if you see this T kind of intruding in the middle of this top of the H here, that's totally fine. It looks natural. It looks handwritten, very, 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 very professional, very beautiful. And as you can see, this is how this font should look. 100%, it's beautiful. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and click make it then, right? Wrong. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you weld this. Now, because you kerned these together, you have to weld them in order for the Cricut to cut it as like one word. If you were to, let's just say, attach this, we attached all these together. If you were to cut this, you would still be able to see the cut lines and the Cricut would still cut the cut lines. Now, Miss Becca actually came up with this. This is the best way I have to be able to share with you what I mean by that. If you change this to a pen, you can see the little extension of that H, the extension of that E, all the way in these letters. This is where the Cricut would cut. The Cricut would cut into our H and do this. Now this is not what we want. So just to show you a side by side, I'm going to duplicate this, and over here I'm going to weld this. I'm going to weld this all together, and now you can see the difference. This is a welded image and an unwelded image. This one has all the text boxes as individual layers, and this every single letter is in one text box. It's all welded together. So you can see there's no more little tails from the end of the letters sticking in here. The Cricut is going to cut in one fell swoop, like it's all one word, which is exactly what we want. So what you're going to do, because I just did that for visualization purposes, you're going to change this back to a cut and make sure you weld it. So watch the layers panel when I click the weld button down here. So here it is. I have all of my letters selected. When you click weld, it turns into one layer. That's awesome. So this is exactly how that those words should look. It looks beautiful. Now I'm going to erase that. Moving on down here to community, what would happen here, because this is one text box, we have added a space in between these two words. You can see clearly here. However, when you type the font out, it doesn't show that. So what you're going to do is you can use that letter spacing tool just a couple times, and then you'll have to move to that ungroup tool. So we're going to go back up to letter spacing, bring that down. Now remember, these are supposed to be two different words here. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to go up one. If you can see these little tails starting to stick out, I'm going to go the other direction. Just like that. Perfect. And now, at this point, I'm going to click ungroup. So I really shortened down the amount of time we're gonna have to work on this cut file. So now I'm gonna take all of these, which how I do this is I have my mouse here. I click and hold my mouse and it selects all of those. Now I'm gonna use my arrow keys and pull the whole thing over to the right. And I realized I just took my O, so I'm just gonna go the other way and leave that O there and grab only the letters that I need and bring it over. Now this hello looks really good. I have no complaints here, and the only complaint I have here is this R. So what you're gonna do is click on the letter that you're trying to work with, and because we wanna see this way better, we're gonna make this bigger in Design Space. We're not gonna size it up to be able to see it because you wanna size these together since this is one phrase. So I'm gonna leave them the size that they are, click on the letter that I'm wanting, and then use this button down here, this plus sign, to bring it in for me so I can really visualize it. So here is a much better view of this. I'm gonna bring it a little bit over, just like that. And as you can see, this R just needs a little bit of tweaking to match up perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is click and grab my R and my E, and without using the arrow keys, I'm gonna actually just use my mouse. I'm going to move it around and boom. Just as easy as that, guys. Make sure it looks nice and perfect. It does, looks pretty darn seamless. And now you can minimize that screen once more. And we have our hello there, nice and kerned beautifully. You must kern these. As you can see, guys, this looks much better than how it used to look. Now again, you wanna make sure that you like the spacing in between these words. So I'm gonna grab this other word and use my left arrow key and bring it more to the left, and I like the way that this looks, so you're gonna drag and select all of these, and again, you must click weld. So we're gonna weld all that together, and there we go. And now that we're done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and erase it and move on to our next font. This is the font Fallon. So this is a super cute font. It's a really thin font, so I wanted to kind of give us a couple of challenges through this just to make sure you guys get enough training to where you're super comfortable doing all of this work. So again, we're going to start off with letter spacing. It's always fine to start off with that. Make your work easier so you don't have to do as much work. Make sure you're looking at your font and stop it wherever you want to. I can tell that there's something sticking out here and my R is getting a little far from me. So I'm gonna go the opposite direction. So this one looks fantastic. All we need to do is weld it up. And I wanted this to happen so that I could share with you this hack. I'm super excited it happened on its own. So as you can see, after I clicked weld, these E's all went dark. It's like they all just went completely black. This is not what you want. This is a sign that something is wrong. So thank goodness for that arrow key up there. We're gonna click our arrow key and go back. And now we're gonna investigate. So what you're gonna wanna do is click your text and you're gonna wanna ungroup this. So go ahead and make it letter by letter. And now we know that these E's are the problems here. So if we click on one of them, we're gonna do what we did last time and bring it way on up so we can see it nice and clear. And what we're gonna do is make sure that this first letter, let me scooch it over. You wanna make sure that this first letter is not intruding too much in this E. So what we're gonna do is gonna be able to help us to see this. We're gonna take this and make it a pen. And we're gonna take this and make it a pen as well, like we're drawing. So what we're gonna do is, now that we can see this, we're gonna scooch this out just a bit. Just like so, and now we can make this a basic cut again and this a basic cut again. You don't want any of these letters to intrude on the other ones any more than they have to. If there's even a tiny bit of that H going into that E, it will make that happen. So we're gonna go through here and check all of these. Now I see here our O looks like it could use a little bit of kerning too manually. So we're gonna take this, scooch it on out here, and that looks much better, you can see. Now we're going to scoot over some more and we have our E, R, E. We're going to do the same thing here. This is a good little helpful tip here, is change that to a pen so you can kind of see. And now I'm going to scooch that over so it's a little farther away from that H. Now I'm going to change it back, and I'm going to do the same thing with this R and this E. I'm going to move this R down just like that, and then I'm gonna move our E around. So I'm gonna make him a draw so I can see. So now I'm gonna scooch that over and down just like that. Now I can change him back So here is the font newly kerned. We went way closer and made sure all the letters looked good. And now we're gonna make sure we like the spacing in between them, which I do. So now you're gonna take all of them and click weld, and hopefully this won't happen again. So we're gonna click weld. And yay guys, we did our job correctly. I'm super excited. So now it's all welded perfectly together. You can cut it and have a great time weeding and applying this down to whatever you want. And guys, I actually think this font, which is Living Good, is gonna be a super similar tutorial to the last font. So just to save you guys time, because your time is valuable to me, I'm gonna go ahead and erase that one, and we're gonna focus on this font, which is gorgeous. And this is the font called Betty B. Now, what you're gonna do here is, again, look at your font, see what you want to kern, see what you don't want to kern, and we'll work from there. Now, I'll give you guys a few minutes in your head, in your craft space where you're at right now watching this video. Go ahead and think about which letters you would kern here. Think about how they would touch the other letters and how they would look, and then we will regroup here in just a moment. I also want you guys to think about how this font is designed. This is designed to look kind of like a messy, handwritten, hand-lettered font. This is not supposed to look perfect. It's not supposed to be all on one line, and it's definitely not supposed to be all kerned together. So the first thing that we're gonna do is use that letter spacing tool. So we're gonna go up here, use that letter spacing tool, bring everything closer together here. And I'll tell you all the letters that I want to kern. I want to kern this E to this L and this H to this R. And that might be all that I'm going to be kerning here. So we're going to go ahead and ungroup. I'm going to click one of the letters that I want to be working with, bring it in, use those arrow keys to scooch it over. And if the one arrow key scooches it too far over, just manually do that yourself. It's totally fine. Now I'm going to take this and scooch over to the other word. And I want to have this E touch this R, so I'm going to scooch that over. Now I can minimize the screen here. And I think the only other thing I want to do is move this T around here. Just move it up a bit. And this looks super good to me, guys. It looks natural. It looks like you wrote it. This is super cute. I want to bring my H in a little bit here. You guys can definitely be picky. I want to bring my ERE over to the left a little bit. So I'm going to do that. So just scooch that in together. And this font looks great. I'm going to weld it up. And it looks awesome. Hello there. This is a super fun, really fun font with a lot of personality if you are wanting this. And again, this font is called Betty B. Super cute. So again, guys, I hope that you did enjoy that. There are so many different fonts to be able to kern. We have done a couple of videos previously touching on kerning. Some of them, I think I kerned 1 or 2 words, but I wanted to give you guys a lot of font options to be able to equip you with the skills you needed for whatever font that you're hit with. If there's ever a problem, you know that you can face it using the basic functions here in Design Space. The best thing that would help you all is just to practice, honestly. That's going to be the biggest help to you guys if you are brand new to Cricut. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I love fonts and I love kerning. I think it is therapeutic to me. A lot of crafters say when they use their Cricut, they think that weeding vinyl is therapeutic. I also think it's really fun, and I also love to kern letters in Design Space. I love to kern script fonts. I think that it is a wonderful thing to do. It's a great practice to get into, guys, and I'm just gonna let you guys know, if you're brand new to Cricut, first of all, grab that free link down below and get the 5 free days to master your Cricut. It's gonna really help you guys out. But also, practicing in Design Space, it's intimidating because you've never used it before. There's a lot of functions, a lot of buttons. I know it can be overwhelming, but once you get those down and you practice and you master it, you're gonna be kerning fonts like a whiz. It's gonna be amazing. I hope that you all did enjoy this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We love answering your questions on these Q&A Tuesday videos. If you enjoyed it, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to get notified of all these amazing videos. And as always, guys, we will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.